Careful, it's hot.
Man, I love that stuff. Greg Billings, you are the man. Hey, everybody, this is American Car Classics radio program and podcast. I am Kenny Schofield, and with me, as always, hopefully for a long time, we're going to see if we can put up with that long, Andrew Colomb. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you, Kenny?
I'm good, man. How's your week been?
Yep.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of projects at work. We were talking a little bit earlier, kind of teaches and all that. And sometimes we got deadlines. We got people waiting in the office here at Dolphin Auto for their car, but you've got a deadline on some projects. And sometimes they go, hey, buckle down, hustle up, man, get her done.
Yep, that's the way work life is sometimes.
And so you actually had to put your cell phone down a little bit today. I didn't have mine much today. Prepping for this radio show. I hope everybody's doing well in the world. I hope that we bring a little bit of smiles to your life, maybe a little bit of information this week. It's going to be a good show. We've got some stuff coming up. We're going to be talking about the Corvettes, particularly C1 class to C8 class, not anything in between. I'm going to try to focus a little bit on the C1s, and that was from 53 to 57. I'm going to talk about to 60 to 62. I'm going to talk about what my favorite in there was and why. And then Andrew, he's going to go over there and take over the C8s.
Yep, taking over the C8s. Basically, all the improvements that Chevrolet has made over the years, that the culmination that has come to the C8 Corvette, mid-engine, and we'll get into it. Also, we've got a new segment coming up, which we're dubbing Coulda, Shoulda, Woulda right now.
For now.
Temporary. We'll see how it goes.
Bryce is trying to pull our chain on that.
Yeah, it's all Bryce's fault.
It is.
But basically, we want to look over some of my shade tree mechanics from the past in my old show, and then I want Kenny to see them first time. He's never seen this video clip before, and I want him to tell me what he would have done differently compared to how I did it for $0.
Now, your old show is the $1,000 car guy.
Yep.
And on that, you didn't just talk about, hey, I'm putting an LS into a Festiva. You did a lot. You did some educational tutorials and other things like that. And actually, you started off in your house, and then you got out to the garage, and that's where it became fun. You had a friend, Leon, helping you out.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a channel. What is that?
Leon's got a channel called Leon's Garage Adventures, where he does a lot of definitely classic car builds. 55 Chevy's his favorite thing to work on. And I don't know how much I'm supposed to reveal about it, but it makes like 1,400 horsepower right now.
Hey, right on, man. That's a hell of a car. I love horsepower. I hope you guys do too. That's why you're joining into us. So we've got some stuff coming up. We're going to be talking about Mecum. I want to go over a little bit about the car that sold for the most money, $456,000, while Andrew and I were there in July. And this week, Mecum's going to be coming up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I think they are, Bryce. They're going to be there for 4 days, 1,200 cars. We're going to talk to John Kramer, I think, next week. So that should be fun. And man, I don't know. I guess we got some racing news we can talk about.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of racing. What's going on with NASCAR?
Yeah, so NASCAR, Bryce, you asked about racing and what have you. They were out in Pocono this weekend. You ever been out to the Pocono Mountains?
No, I've been nowhere near there, actually.
Andrew?
Oh, it's amazing, yeah.
Okay, so I haven't. Times. So they're beautiful, right?
Not for the racing, but I've been there for skiing.
Snow?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's no water skiing.
No.
Pocono Mountains. Well, I don't know if there's lakes around or not. But Denny Hamlin won that race, and he got booed when he got out of the car. It was pretty sad to see that because Denny's usually liked by lots, but he got booed because he put Kyle Larson in the wall towards the end of the race, and there was no reason for it other than I said that he pussed out. He got worried that Kyle was going to beat him, so he had an opportunity and he Earnhardted him.
Is there ever penalties for behavior like that?
Right, that's what I was wondering. Fines or...
Right. So, no, because they're calling it a racing deal. But Kyle and Denny are friends off the track, and they did say that Kyle feels that this was an apologetic an offense, and he says that he knows Denny will not apologize for it. That's kind of the sorry part of it all. Usually after the race, they'll call somebody and say, hey, I didn't mean to do that or whatever. But at the end of the race, Kyle came back with his car, and he went up to him at a lower speed. He went up to Denny's door and put a tire mark on it, which NASCAR has already suspended Elliott's kid, Chase Elliott. He suspended him for a weeks of racing because he did it during a race. He retaliated with his car, but the cars are not to be used as weapons. And so when you do that, NASCAR frowns heavily upon it.
Huh.
Yeah.
It just seems like maybe the team would also be a little bit disappointed with the decision to destroy thousands of dollars worth of racing equipment.
Yeah, lots of dollars of equipment. I don't know what a current car costs, but I'd bet they've got $250,000 into one.
Yeah.
So it's a hard thing when they do that.
Well, because why wouldn't somebody just do it right in the beginning of the race? If you don't want the competition, just burp.
Well, you take a chance of wrecking your car when you wreck somebody.
That's true.
The big thing about NASCAR that I always tried to compare like against F1 is F1, the cars are half as light and the tires are twice as wide. NASCAR, the tires are so small at the speed with the amount of downforce and the packages that they have. If you could push one when it went by at 200 miles an hour, you can break traction with it.
Wow.
They're just that light.
Is it fair to say that what NASCAR has designed is the recipe for gigantic crashes?
Oh, yeah. They always talk about the big one, and the big one's always going to happen at almost any track that's over a mile big now, a mile long. Even the short one, we watched at Chicago, the road course. It became a clogged parking lot with 9 cars because they couldn't get through, and that was at a 40-mile-an-hour turn. So certainly the packages now are not just, the big one isn't just coming at the Daytona and Talladega tracks. They are so tight bunched. Everybody's even keeled. It's no longer a carburetor issue where somebody's got a vapor lock or a piece of debris stuck in an air cleaner or something. They're all so perfect.
So with NASCAR, is the allure the enormous speed that they take? Because couldn't you have just as much fun racing in a lower speed environment, kind of like Chicago,
Like the MX-5 Cup?
Yeah, I think that
but with big old V8s.
I think that the crowd is expecting to go and watch a big crash. I'm glad that everybody walks away today.
So it's like fireworks. The reason you go to a fireworks display is
because of the boom.
Similar. Okay.
Yeah.
But if that was the case, why wouldn't they just change the spectacle so that if they do make contact, make it so that they're less likely to crash, but maybe something shoots out of it, paint, or turn it into like a Mario Kart. So
because they take it as serious business, because these are men in 3,000-pound machines that are driving around at 200 miles an hour with no brake lights,
right,
no turn signals. I mean, you get a hand gesture, but that's about it. And it's really, I've raced. It's very crazy following somebody at 80, 90, 100 and whatever, something, even into a corner. I've been to Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's a 1.5 mile track, and the whole track is banked. And going into turn 1 at 189 miles an hour, this turn is sharp, and they are banked. The wall, when you are a spectator standing on the ground and you lean over the fence is out at past 45 degrees. You lay on the fence, which you're not allowed to anymore, which sucks. But when you could do this, the cars would go underneath you, but they would be underneath you on their side. Charlotte Motor Speedway, go check it out. It's crazy.
That does sound crazy.
Yeah.
do they have any kind of spinal problems from that kind of G-force
NASCAR guys,
over
absolutely,
longer
just
times?
like a truck driver. Yeah, a lot of them have back issues. Their seats aren't air shocked; they're really padded.
Has a Lazy Boy ever sponsored one of the cars?
I don't know, but Furniture Row sponsored Joe Nemechek. I've got his hood out here in the shop hanging on the wall. We'll have to break that out sometime. So,
IndyCar. So Newton, Iowa Raceway, Hy-Vee one-stop 250. Joseph Newgarden won with Will Power.
That's his name. Will Power.
I know, that's his name. With Will Power coming in second and Alex Palou finishing in third place.
Now, your Will Power's down. I mean, hey, honey, we're about to have our baby. Our last name is Power. And what are you coming up with? You're thinking Bill Power. That's Bill Power. We don't want power to our bills. And so they called him Will, but after naming him William instead, you wonder how much thought.
Isn't he Australian too? I think he is.
Now, we say two.
Well,
VSP,
two. Yeah, we do have a correction to make, which is that Mr. SVG is not actually from Australia.
Right. New Zealand.
Yeah, thanks to superfan Ed for correcting us on that.
Yeah, hey, Ed, hope you're doing well. Buy a drink on me.
I could do that.
NHRA. Last weekend, all these races are from last weekend. Like I said, today is Wednesday the 26th. We're doing this. So last week was the Northwest Nationals. This was in Kent, Washington.
Yep. Right next to where I went to high school. It used to be called SIR, and now it's called Pacific Raceways.
It is
beautiful little track nestled in the forest up there, and it's a great place to watch cars do their thing.
Very cool. I haven't been to Washington, but I'd like to get out there. The Puget Sound tide's 40 feet high. That's pretty cool. So at the Northwest Nationals, the top fuel dragster winner was Steve Torrance. The funny car winner was Tim Wilkerson. And the Pro Stock motorcycle was Gage Herrera. And it was pretty good racing. The weather was great. When they're up north like that, mile high, all that stuff, the horsepower is phenomenal. The air is so thin. Man, they just tune them in. No humidity. All that thick, dense air down here in Florida and stuff, they just have a hard time with up there. Just flying.
Yeah, speaking of flying, we have something in F1 right now that's worth noting, which is that in 1988, Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost were racing for McLaren.
Yeah.
And that was the last time a team won 12 straight victories. And Red Bull has done that the last weekend.
Yeah.
What Verstappen is doing right now has got to put him amongst like the top drivers of all time. He's so far ahead of the entire F1 field, including his own teammate.
Yeah.
That by the end of that race, he could basically take a free pit stop and still remain in first place.
Yeah, 12 wins dating back for Red Bull from last season sets a record, but Verstappen, 7 straight wins.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago, we were talking about Lewis Hamilton.
Yep.
The guy couldn't be touched.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, in this Grand Prix weekend, Lewis had his first pole since 2021.
Isn't that crazy?
Which was exciting. He beat Max by like 3/1000ths of a second.
But then at the end of the race, Max came in and won by over half a second.
Yeah, basically what you're seeing is cars in qualifying trim that are able to compete with Red Bull, but once they're on the track, and when you Max is just so perfect, for an entire Grand Prix that he's just, like I said, he's on a different level right now. It's him winning is kind of the given, and then everybody else duking it out.
All right, well, that about does it for segment number 1. We're going to get into segment number 2, our Corvette talks, and we got more down the road. So stay tuned. Be about 2 minutes. This is the American Car Classics Radio Podcast.
All right, water.
Don't try to hide, baby, 'cause I'll find you on this land.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the American Car Classics radio program and podcast. I held my breath there for a second, waiting for the okay to talk. Bryce Schonke, he's calling all the shots, and I'm okay with that for now. I'm Kenny Schofield, and this is Andrew Colomb.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to get into this discussion where we were going to try to create something new for everybody. We wanted to learn ourselves if we could do this and make it good for radio content. So we're going to break down something about the Corvettes. I'm going to talk a bit about the C1 Corvette, which was 1953, its inception date to 1962. And then Andrew, you're going to come in and you're going to, not versus, we were going to do C1 versus C8, but what happened?
Right. There's no competition, obviously. You can't have a race between a car from 70 years ago and a car today. It's just not fair. But it's not to say that there aren't benefits for either or, because the initial idea of this, I thought, would be if you're going to have a weekend warrior car, which are you going to pick? And I came up with the idea that we could do the Corvettes first, because Kenny loves Corvettes.
Well, I'm a Chevy guy.
I'm a big fan of the new C8, but I'm not stuck that I would have that as my weekend car. I mean, it'd be a great daily driver every day, and it's one of the fastest cars on the planet right now, but I don't know that would be my choice. Can you tell me a little bit more about the C1s?
Well, first of all, the C1s came out on a polyglass 14-inch tire. There's no competition between a 20-inch, 12-inch wide.
Yep. 13 in my example.
Radial 13 is right. Well, hey, there's that inch. So I out of the 53 to the 62, and I like the 62 because the 62, the rear end becomes that ducktail kind of thing. It gets pinched down, and the whole big round stuff in the back is gone, and it just looks a lot more like the 67, which was really my favorite year of the Stingray and all that stuff. But the 62, and here again, that was the first year of the 327 coming in. I think that was a big horsepower upgrade, 340 horsepower, if I'm right, and this just added a lot to what people were already finding out the first 6 years of Corvette, that they were a lot of fun. But I went with the 57, only 4 years into making the Corvettes, and they this was the 283 that was 1 horsepower per cubic inch. It makes you smile now because of course
but I know it was a big deal at the time,
and it was. But they went into fuel injection. I think I wrote down some specs on this that the 283 cubic inch engine had been built up producing 1 horsepower per every cubic inch at 283 horsepower, 6,200 RPM. The first feature that was really exciting for this on this 1957 was the high-performance ramjet fuel injection, offering increased power, quicker acceleration response, faster engine warm-ups, which is good because carburetor chokes sitting in there 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you got to warm up. It's got to be able to kick off and before you can take off, or you're not going to be able to hit your brake pedal when you get to the stop sign. You're going to roll right through it with your tires hitting on the ground. No more vapor lock, a big problem.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean, the first answer from fuel injection was get rid of vapor lock. When they introduced the return lines, it just made the system so much better even yet. But all around better fuel economy. And when you and I talked, Andrew, before the show, you said to me, economy.
I bet you're going to have better fuel economy than mine.
Because the 1957 Chevy Corvette, I don't know its fuel economy, but it was definitely more than
15 city.
Does it go up for the highway on the
Yeah,
C8?
a little bit.
17, 18?
I think it's like 23 or 27.
Yeah.
But that's because it can sit in 8th gear.
Yeah. Now, you've driven a C8?
I haven't, no.
So and I don't know, we're going to jump around on this, but there's no script for this. What I don't like about the C8, what I don't like about the new cars is when I got in one out here on US 1, and if you're a sheriff's deputy, then, you got to see me doing it. I got up to, I think I did $145 in that car. Maybe it was the bucks. Yeah, $145, I think it was. But I didn't feel it shift until 4th gear.
Right.
It was just so smooth. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no braking. The tire's loose. It's all traction control. You can turn it off.
It's got that new double clutch system.
It does.
There's no gap between gears
nothing.
at this point.
But by 4th gear, you're starting to get put back in your seat a little bit, and so you do feel the gears each one after that.
Now, do you think something of the humanity has left the car?
I think a lot of the humanity. I would say that my 1957 Corvette was built by men that loved the Corvette. They appreciated the designer for making such a beautiful car. I mean, just sexy. They're just sexy. And the C8?
The C8 seems to be a track weapon designed by engineers to be the pinnacle of what Chevy could produce at the time. But it doesn't have a soul. It's a machine, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous to look at, and it's fast as all get up, but it just doesn't have the same personality at a car show that a C1 would have.
And that's very true too. When we do the car show out in Indianapolis at the Friendlies, which is O'Galley Boulevard, if you're here from this area, it's on the beach, and there are 5 rows of cars, and 2 full rows are brand new Corvettes.
Yeah.
I know that there are some guys that have done a couple little things different here and there to them, whatever, but they are much like NASCAR. They're all the same, except you picked the Z06 class.
Z06, and then as you can see on your screen, if you're watching this is Z07 package, which comes with the carbon fiber rims and upgraded tires and a carbon fiber roof that's matched to paint. But it's a 2.6 0 to 60. That's insane.
2.6 seconds.
2.6 seconds, 0 to 60. Quarter mile standard in 10.6 seconds. But braking is almost more important. 60 to 0 in 99 feet, under 100 feet. I'm guessing you'd need a whole drag strip to stop your C1 at top speed.
Yeah, I was saying if you took a carbureted model and you didn't have your choke off, you probably the vacuum would be lost and you couldn't even stop it doing, unless it was off choke.
Right to the floor.
Yeah. So that'd be yeah, like we said at the beginning, we were going to do verses. There's no verses between it. There's no comparisons. But the new one is made by a machine or men operating machines. And back then they really, I just can't imagine being on an assembly line, put these things through and having one fire up and just how cool. Now I'm sure I love the technology. I'm much older than you, Andrew, and I felt that coming out of the OPEC problems and everything in the late 70s and early 80s that we would never, ever see any of the big three selling a car with 1,000 horsepower.
Right. The C8 has the world's largest displacement for a flat plane crank V8. I didn't know that. I learned that today.
I'm not a machinist, so I really don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Now, it's only 5.5 liters, which doesn't sound like a massive amount anymore.
And it's not.
But it revs all the way to 8,600 RPM. That's where it gets max horsepower.
Yeah.
Max torque is like another 2,000 lower than that. But still, in order to rev that much, they needed the flat plane crank. So, but that changes the exhaust note of everything now.
Everything.
So now Chevy designed it after the Ferrari 458. Apparently they bought one and then went over it with a fine-tooth comb to find out how they could improve the Corvette. Because going from the C7's front engine rear-wheel drive, even though it's got the transmission in the back.
Which was a great concept. And the first time I ever saw a Corvette sitting on a thimble, I just thought, man, they've done something.
But it's amazing how, because I know a lot of the C5 guys and C6, if you take out the whole torque tube, there's an adapter plate to just mount the engine directly to the transaxle in the back. So, well, the transmission.
Yeah.
So it's like Chevy wanted to do this all along, but they needed a final push. Now, this is going to be very controversial, but do you think the C8 is a true Corvette in the original stance of the Corvette?
I do. I think that time and technology and innovation has led to this. The Stingray is still very evident in the car. I think that they've tried to maintain that with changing it around a bit. I'd love to see them come back with that old Stingray hood on something new, not electric. I'm glad to know that even if they are trying to do the electric stuff for other people or whatever, that they're staying tuned to the gas models, unlike some other manufacturers that aren't. So yeah, I do think that they've kept it going. And I'm old school, man, so it's not for me. But I sure enjoy driving.
There is no more manual transmission for the Corvette.
No, it's all paddle shift.
That hurts me. I know it's not faster, but I don't care. I like the feel of it.
You love sticks, and here again, I said I don't. I've seen too many customers come through with sore knees. They can't even drive their own cars. Hey, Kenny, go get that thing cranked up and drive around for me for a while. I can't do it. And I'm an automatic guy. I've been in too many stoplights.
Bryce, I want to hear your opinion on this. If you get to choose, C1, C8.
C8 all day long. Yeah, I love the switch to the mid-engine. I think they had to do that to compete with the European sports cars, which they now can. And you saw when the C8R came out, they had a little bit of trouble in their first season, and they dominated once they worked out the kinks in their second season in the GT Le Mans class for the final year of that.
And also the price. When they announced the C8 and it was going to start at $60,000.
Yeah, 65
That's
MSRP.
insane.
Of course, you could not find
No, it didn't actually
for that.
exist. But
the fact that they brought down, I think the first gen of the C7 was started at $120,000. So they made it much more affordable. And the C8 is my new dream car once it's old enough for me to
16
afford
years
one.
from now, that'll be peaking in its lowest point.
Yeah.
Shouldn't use the term peaking.
Well, then they'll be on to the C10 at that point, which will have all kinds of whatever else they're going to do with it. But
it's going to drive itself probably.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about what's going to be happening down the road. What governments are going to allow, what local municipalities are going to allow. restrictions they're going to put on it for
I know we're getting a little bit off topic here, but did you see how California is now recommending to people that they do not charge their cars because the grid can't keep up with it because of all the air conditioners being...
It's the second time they've done that, actually. They did that last summer as well, after announcing that they were going to force everybody into electric cars.
We're 6 years away from what the government wants to do as having total control of electric cars driving across America. It ain't going to happen. Our grids can't get there in 6 years. It can't happen.
Yeah.
Can't happen, won't happen. And I do not think that car enthusiasts are following them down this rabbit hole.
I'm just so surprised by how much Ford and Dodge are putting into, and I know Chevrolet, they started out with the Volt, which didn't do well.
Nope, terrible.
Yeah, but I just think that, man, they're going to be closing complete branches of stuff down. The $1 billion plants they're building in Michigan, they've got a $1.5 billion plant or something going up, to build batteries. I think that everything in the world is going to happen too much, and they're not going to be able to have the proper stuff for that. But at the same time, charging them grid-wise, just it isn't a reality. It's a good magic trick. They've been blowing smoke up our butts.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, I think that did pretty good for what we would call our initiation to comparisons, as it would. So we're going to take another quick short break. I'm going to run the computer, get a little bit of information on some of the news, this American Car Classics. We'll be right back.
You better let me be. Coming at you, a wings of desire. You better pin up on a chain of me now. I'm out of the gym now, baby. And nothing you can do. I'm coming to get you. All right. Woo!
Welcome back to the American Car Classics radio podcast and YouTube show. So on our next segment, we're going to talk about the coulda, shoulda, woulda. Temporary name. We'll find out.
I like it, man.
So the idea of this segment is that we are going to watch one of my older YouTube video clips from my show $1,000 Car Guy, where I act and am a shade tree mechanic, and we're going to go over some of the mistakes that I might have made in the past and see how Kenny would have done it in his professional environment.
Yeah, I'm going to start off by saying there ain't nothing wrong with a shade tree mechanic. I've started as one, pretty much most guys did, doing something in your garage. When you get into a professional level, the game changes a bit, but so does your liability and responsibility to the customer.
So Bryce, do we have a video clip that we could watch from my old show?
Yes, we do.
So that's younger Andrew.
Wow.
Yep, and you can see my old porch. Obviously, the people at home don't know this. So this is a $500, like 2001 Toyota Echo that I bought off of my off of an old coworker. So there's a massive dent in the door. So I started by taking off the door card, trying not to lose any of the pieces. And obviously, I'm trying to let the camera see as much as they can, which is why I'm reaching through the window. I probably wouldn't do that in a real environment. So we pull off this sticky door card, got to put the window crank back on it. I love a manual window crank. So my idea was to just shove my foot right into it. And it got out the majority of it, but you can see there's still like little dings and stuff all over it. Now, in the original audio, I'm talking about how my plan is to go to the junkyard. I was going to find another silver door and just put the whole door on, but I never actually got that far. The car ended up selling much sooner than I expected, so I never went any further than this. But, I mean, for the cost-wise, that went from a massive dent to, like, parking lot dents with just my right foot.
So you're saying you put your foot through that hole that we just looked at? That's some ninja.
Because there's a support brace in the middle of the door.
Yeah.
I've used plungers before, but it didn't fit the crease on this one, so my foot became the dent removal tool.
But it did good. You didn't try to heat it or cool it or anything else that sit in the sun or getting kind of anything out of...
If heating it would have helped, then I got lucky because it's Florida. And,
yeah. Even in a winter day, you still would have had some good heat.
Yeah.
Yes, the first thing that we would have done was we would have sat in the back seat, but you did that just for the camera view.
Nope, but that's a really good idea. I probably should have done that.
Yeah. The only thing difference that on that script that I could add is that I would call this guy named Walt Dent. He's in Vero, and he's a PDR guy. PDR, paintless dent removal. He comes out and he's got all the lighting to set it all up great. He's got all these massage wands to go out there. If he has to drill into an area that there's a door or a body panel that doesn't open enough, he's got all these assorted factory looking body plugs that you can't ever really tell he was there. And he breaks out these lamps and these heaters and these tools, and he will massage and rub just like a masseuse on a body. He just takes care of and does all that. Something that's severe, man, you did really good.
I got lucky.
I mean, you got lucky. but for that, our body guy would just come in there. Roy would just come in there, take it, and he'd just do a little bit of skim putty and get them in a little bit more if he couldn't, hammer and dolly them back out. But here it is you've got your dolly, which is a little round piece or flat piece that's going to go behind the metal. And then your little body hammer that is a hammer with no grooves or anything. It's just a flat peen. It's actually rounded, almost a little eggish or something on the end, and you're going to hammer and dolly that metal. If it stretches, then you need to try to shrink it, and sometimes you got to cut the metal to do that. But metal is pretty pliable when it comes around to it, as you saw with Andrew's.
Would you say that it's worth it to try and take the dents out, or would you try and shop around on Craigslist or Facebook to find another door?
So here again, Dolphin Auto, $110, $120 an hour. We're going to call and get a door. We're going to sell a door. We're going to mark the door up, and we're going to do it in about 20 minutes of changing the door over. Roy, who is our body guy, he says, keep everything in-house, man, everything in-house. We're going to keep that money in-house. And he would go out there and he would pop it out and hammer it and do it. And in a couple hours, he'd have it done. We call LKQ a lot. We buy a lot of used parts.
Right. I'm sure availability comes into play, because if it's a classic, you're probably not going to find it in the junkyard here.
That's right.
Sure.
That's right. Or yet alone in a junkyard in good condition, or at the cost that's going to make it effective to just not go in there. And now you can go to a lot of aftermarket companies. I was going to try and think of one I could.
Rock Auto?
No.
Oh.
We're talking about classic car stuff, but you can buy door skins. Mm-hmm. I know you can buy rear quarters and fenders, but you can buy a door skin, keeping the integrity of the original door and just reskinning it.
Right.
Even new cars too, but classics as well. So
great.
Yeah. So we got another one.
That's the only one for today. We want to try it out. I've definitely made a lot of mistakes over my time on YouTube, and if the people like it, I think we queue up another segment where I've done some sort of other mechanic work and see what you think of it. But that was really informative. I like that.
Yeah, I liked it too, man. I got to see what simple is, and it's certainly a great example to go in there with a body panel. And I mean, you looked like you just took the door panel off with ease, a screwdriver.
Toyota making things easy. I think there was 2 screws max.
Did you lose the pin for the window crank handle? Because I saw when you took it off, it shot on the ground.
Maybe. But we had a problem with that door in a previous episode because someone had put the child door lock on, the mechanical one, and then slammed it. And I think when that dent happened, it knocked something loose inside, because in order to get that door open from that point forward, the door card had to come off from the inside, which is insane to think of. Like,
now, where did you learn door card from? Because that's normally a European thing.
Oh,
door panel.
Oh, geez, I never called a door panel.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I grew up, so my dad had a lot of British sports cars, so maybe that's where it came from.
Absolutely.
Of course, they're only this big.
They're quite small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that was pretty cool. We hope that you enjoyed that. Maybe learned something on it, whatever. Don't forget, you can write in, text us a question about something you've got going on with your shade tree issues to our hotline. We'll cover it at the end of the show. So we're going to jump out of here, take another quick break.
We'll be right back with our next segment.
What is...
Shake a leg, come along with me. You take 1 step, you take 2 steps, you take 3, and get on up.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We hope that you've enjoyed everything we've been bringing you. We're going to bring you a little bit more, see how this does for you. I'm Kenny Schofield. This is Andrew Coulombe, and this is the American Car Classics Radio Program podcast. We're on YouTube, Facebook. Bryce, where are we at?
We got a TikTok.
Ooh.
Do
Instagram.
we have Instagram?
Do we have a Pinterest?
We do not have a Pinterest
No
board.
Pinterest.
Andrew, do you want to take over duties? On
Absolutely
setting
not.
it? Okay.
Yeah, he's going to try and get us into other stuff. Andrew is going to help us get into things that we didn't really know about. YouTube Shorts, right?
Yeah.
Reels are good, but the YouTube Shorts are going to be a little bit more.
Gooder. More gooder.
Follow that up. All right. So getting into segment 4, we've got. I wanted to bring up the weekend car show and weather report. So I went looking across the nation. I spanned the nation for everybody. The Street Rod Nationals, the NSRA Autocross Street Rod Nationals, are going to be coming in for their 54th annual event in Kentucky at the Kentucky Exposition Center from August 3rd to August 6th. I looked at the weather. It's going to be lows at 79 degrees. High temps are going to be around 97. A little passing shower here and there, but it's going to be a beautiful day. And this event is huge. This is organizers have said that Street Rod Nationals are expected to draw in around 30,000 people this year.
Holy cow.
Tickets are $19 for people 13 and older, $6 for those that are 6 and 12, and 5 and under get in for free. 30,000 people. I'll tell you a little bit about what they're going to be having here. This is the, like I said, from August 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and the 6th. That's 4 days at the Exposition Center. The National Street Rod Association proudly presents the 2023 giveaway. Harrison's Rod and Customs out of Greenville, Tennessee is building a 1977 Chevy C10 pickup truck. This truck will be won by a qualified registered participant of the 54th Annual Street Rod Nationals. The drawing will be held Saturday, August 5th. The lucky winner will have to be present at Freedom Hall to win this truck. Bryce, I think you're going to be able to put some highlights up on that, and this thing looks pretty badass. The event's going to be having a large car show, tons and tons of classic cars. I don't think they set a specific number as years past, but I know it's in the several hundreds. They've got an exhibitor space. They've got HRIA education days. They've got NSRA autocross, as I said. They've got a swap meet space. They're hosting an elite builders competition. So almost like SEMA, where they're doing some in-house finishing of cars or building of stuff where you get to watch around as a spectator.
Yeah, that's great.
Maybe even lean in and ask some questions about some stuff. They've got a coned road course track. So take your car out there, pay $15, and you get to run your car on the track a few times and see how you do, see how well your tires hold up in those rough conditions. Because getting out on a track, you think driving through the road fast or whatever is one thing, but put it on a track, you try and brake in a certain distance and accelerate back through a corner, because you have to accelerate through corners to make the corners sometimes. So that should be cool. So that all is going on this weekend. That's our weekend weather and car show report for that segment.
Also, if they would like to meet us in person, we are going to be out at the Slot Car Raceway and Hobby Shop Open Show on Saturday, August 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's open to all cars, trucks, bikes, and Jeeps of every year, make and model. There's going to be a 50-50 drawing, food, awards, raffles, and vendors. And who doesn't love racing slot cars? I remember doing that when I was probably 5 to 6 years old in somebody's basement.
Yeah. What is the name of this is a friend of mine, Joe Milstead. And he has, listen, this track, this facility is the 4th largest slot car, drift car racing shop in the world.
Wow.
4th largest in the world, and it's right here in Vero Beach, Florida.
Right. It's located at 1732 94th Drive, Vero Beach, Florida, 32966. The Slot Car Raceway and Hobby Shop. You can find them on Facebook as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Find them on Facebook. Look it up. The name of the shop is what again?
Slot Car Raceway and Hobby Shop.
Yeah, and I think that there's the raceway.biz. You can find them on the internet as well. So we're going to be out there August what was it, the 12th?
August 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah, come meet us. Hey, bring us your car and bring us a question about your car, or sit down and talk to us about your car. If she's got a name, I'd love to know what your car's name is and the history behind it. So come out and meet Andrew, and if you haven't met me before, then come out and do that as well. And, who knows? We'll get into a drag race together. You never know. You never know. So, yeah.
Race you for pink slip.
Pink slips. Pink slips is what they used to call title back in the day.
Yeah, they're not pink anymore.
No, they're just big ass titles. One of the titles that traded hands at Mecum in Kissimmee in July for a lot of pennies. Bryce, as you say, get pennies. This would fill your car up, your ashtray up pretty quick. $456,500 for this 2005 Ford GT supercharged 5.4 liter, 550 horsepower. 2,921 miles. It says it has all 4 options. It says that they had 4 options. It has all 4.
Got them all.
If you know about the Ford GT, then you know what options were available, and you know that this has all 4 of them. But this was the largest selling car at Mecum in Kissimmee this July. I think that they said that they had 1,500 cars and all that. Andrew, we had a great time when we went out there.
Blast.
I want to try to take us through this, and I guess I could give this stuff to Bryce, and maybe Bryce, you want to try to read these off to us and let us vote on them and see what we think they're going to go for? Or you want me to keep trying to do the reading?
You can go ahead and just... I've got 2 here. I've got the Trans Am and the Red Challenger.
All right. Well, we're going to do... I'm going to give 2 to Andrew, and I'm going to take 2. We'll see what kind of time we've got. So I'm going to start out with lot number S233. This is for the Harrisburg auction coming up. That's going to be in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That is from starting today, Wednesday the 26th of July, running through the 29th. So that is 4 days. They're going to be selling 1,200 cars and trucks, classic and new and everything else. So I'm starting off with this beautiful, it's a red 71 Dodge Charger. It is a 500. It says it comes with a 318 engine, automatic transmission, white bucket interior. What else? It says original music master radio and Krager SS wheels. Power steering, power front disc brakes, BF Goodrich tires, and front and rear bumper guards. I got to see it in color. You're not seeing this, bright, Andrew, in color. I put down here a K. I'll put down here an Andrew. Are you going to try and put a number on some of these cars, Bryce, by listening to us?
No.
Not at all. Okay. I'll jump in on first on this. You do first on those, Andrew. I'm going to say 33,000.
Oof. I'm going to go way lower.
Okay.
I think it's going to be 18.5. That's a white vinyl top, right?
That's a white vinyl top.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
But I'm also not buying it, so.
All right. What do you got?
All right, so lot number S224, we have this basically a Bandit Trans Am.
Yeah.
A 1977 Pontiac Trans Am, 51,000 miles, 4-speed manual. It's black. It's T-tops, of course. Power brakes, got a couple options, aluminum intake manifold. And, I mean, it's definitely an icon.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody remembers Burt Reynolds in the Smoking the Bandit days with Little Frog riding next to him? And what was the cop's name? Buford T. Justice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's somebody else.
So this I'm going to go a little bit higher on. I think this is a good $26,000 car.
I'm going to say 52.
Oh.
All right. My turn. Lot number S214. This is a 1979 Dodge Power Wagon custom pickup truck. And I'm going to tell you, this is a custom. 3,694 miles on the rebuild. The color is teal frost. Interior color is black. Cummins turbo diesel engine.
So like a resto mod.
Yeah, total nice surprise, right?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it from the picture. It looks like a factory truck.
Looks very stock. The engine has been resealed. Cylinder head and injection pump have been rebuilt. S300 internally gated turbocharged. Updated internals on the 4-bolt top cover with the iron tail housing. Driver's drop case. 29 spline input with an adapter ring on the transfer case. What's it got? Double carbon front shaft built 3-inch tube. We're going to go through a lot of specs on that. I'm not going to do all that. He's got paint code colors. Hubs were machined to accept the 14.5-inch rotor and dual piston calipers for the power stop.
That's great because with making all that power, he's going to need to be able to stop.
I tell people all the times, I'd much rather be able to not, or I'd much rather not. I'd much rather be able to stop my car than to start my car. I'm after hours. So the truck is striped with stripped to bare metal and coated with epoxy primer. It goes through a whole bunch of stuff here. Anti-corrosion, rear extension seal seam, rear bumpers tucked and lifted slightly. Front bumper, all metalwork fitted and recessed. Custom floors, transmission tunnel, firewall, all that. Handmade aluminum center console, shifters, speed nut gauges, vintage air, NOS door panels, custom fabricated lower panels. I mean, this thing just goes through hidden Bluetooth stereo aluminum steering column, painted the mount to the dash.
Yeah, it looks like they touched anything and everything, and it looks like it's been tastefully upgraded everywhere.
It really has been. Firewalls all smoothed out. Wires are tucked and hidden. It looks really cool. I thought this was really great for a guest because it's not something you're going to see every day.
Yeah,
being that it's a Dodge.
A real wild card.
Yeah, and then it's a 79 and not a 72. Mm-hmm. Everything's real hot from 69 to 72 right now. So 79 gets you into that square body thing that Chevrolet's got going on, but it's a Dodge. So, man, I really love this thing. I think it could get kind of stupid. I think I'm going to jump in there at $58,000.
So I'm going to say 39, just because it's not that I don't appreciate all the work that's been done to it. It looks fantastic, but I don't know if someone's going to use it for its kind of intended purpose. It seems more of a show truck, something that they're going to take around, and you're going to need a very special buyer. Like you said, that 79. It's going to be a unique person that's going to end up taking that home.
Yeah, I think a guy could go out here and maybe change the wheels over and do a few things his own self to make it his truck. Mm-hmm. But I think that you're either going to put it in the showroom in your garage or you're going to resell it.
Right.
Yeah.
So final car on our guessing auction block here.
Yeah.
Lot number S211. It's a 69 Chevrolet Camaro, fuel injected 383, 489 horsepower, automatic rotisserie restoration. And even from this front picture, it just looks, well, better than new.
Yeah.
Actually.
This reminded me, because it's got that pewter gray type of paint job on it. It reminded me of the one we saw in Mecum and Kissimmee.
What is rotisserie in this case? My first thought is chicken, of course.
Right. So we will
same thing.
get into a rotisserie. Steve Charbonneau has one. He loaned it to me. Todd Byron, I think, owns one. I need to get one.
My dad built one.
Okay. And right.
For his Triumph.
And that's a lot lighter than what you need for one of these.
Yeah.
But a rotisserie is two base three-wheel devices that's got a long rod that connects them together the whole length of the car. And then it's got mounting brackets up there that you can take the back bumper off and basically bolt it on to the rack where the back bumper went, and then the front end of the car is all off, so you're going to mount this to your firewall or up and around that area. Sometimes you have to drill holes, cut, put in your nuts and bolts, and fabricate some stuff and then fill it up later. But they come with a lot of pinch clamps that go in there and allow you to grab it and hold. But when it's on there, you can evenly balance this thing to where you can just rotisserie it. You flip it over on its side. You can work your whole bottom of your car and then
put
paint
new
it.
Floors in while you're standing up.
Right.
Instead of laying on your
it's just
back.
a great feature to be able to work on the car, keep it up out of your way, and not have to bend over, break your back, being down on the bottom of the car trying to do welds for hours on end and stuff like that. So
also, I think the general statement when someone says rotisserie, they're saying every single nut and bolt has been taken off and either repaired, fixed, improved upon, or replaced completely.
absolutely.
So, along with the rotisserie, it's got a Holly Sniper EFI, Wiseco forged pistons, scat, rods and crank, comp roller cam, a lot of engine rebuilding going on, but Oh, and a 3800 stall converter.
Okay.
So they would want to party.
Yeah, 383 stroker, right?
Yep. With just under 500 horsepower. It's definitely been a fun street car.
Yeah. I think Steve Charbonneau's 69 Camaro had a 383 or something close to it, and it got on it, man. So and this is a good looking car. The gaps are good. The paint quality is good. The rims look really nice on this thing. Not too fat a tire in the back, which maybe hurts it a little bit because that big of a motor, you want some real big fat stuff. But I think that this thing was tubbed, wasn't it? Maybe I'm saying that and all that, but I want to look back real quick, and Bryce will be putting pictures through stuff and get fat tires. They're just tucked in real well.
Right. And so along with the equipment, Dakota Digital Dash, Ford 9-inch rear end, 456 gears, 3-inch exhaust with cutouts, hydro boost. So it's for show and go. It's made to party.
Yeah.
With this one, this is going to be my highest bid, and I think it's going to bring $58,000.
All right, I'm gonna put in my highest bid, and I'm gonna say it's gonna bring $64,000.
Also, it should be stated that I was terrible at this game when we were at Mecum. I was way off, and Kenny was right on the money.
I've been doing it, and I was sitting next to Mike and Todd and Steve for a while doing this, and I did not win a lot. Mike and Steve won most of them. Todd and I came in third and fourth a lot, but I got to watch some guys that were good at it. They do a lot more bidding than I do on stuff, but I think I'm pretty close. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So, all right, well, don't know much what else to say. You got anything else to say to these people?
I think that's it for now. Look forward to next episode. Hopefully next Thursday or Friday we'll be up on all the social media sites.
Yeah.
And we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.
We appreciate y'all tuning in. This is the American Car Classics Radio program and podcast. Be good to everybody, huh?